What happens when you wake up in a stranger's bed with no memory of the night before and realize the man beside you isn't just any stranger, but Seoul's most dangerous billionaire? The morning sun filters through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting geometric shadows across a bedroom that screams wealth and power. Isabel's eyes flutter open, her vision blurry as consciousness slowly returns. The silk sheets beneath her feel like liquid luxury against her bare skin. Her head pounds with the remnants of last night's decisions she cannot remember. She blinks once. Twice. The room comes into focus. Minimalist. Monochrome. Expensive. This is not her apartment. Panic rises in her chest like a tide. She sits up too quickly, clutching the black silk sheet to her chest, her long hair cascading over her shoulders in wild waves. The room spins slightly. Her heart hammers against her ribs as fragmented memories try to piece themselves together. Neon lights, bass-heavy music, the scent of expensive whiskey, and nothing. A complete blank. Good morning, beautiful. The voice is deep, smooth, and dangerously close. Isabel's head whips to the side. There, propped up on one elbow with an expression that can only be described as wickedly amused, lies the most gorgeous man she has ever seen. Kim Soo-hyun. Even half asleep, even in the soft morning light that makes most people look vulnerable, he looks like sin personified. His black hair falls messily across his forehead, several strands obscuring eyes, so dark they appear almost black. Intricate tattoos peek from beneath the sheet pooled at his waist, dragons and Korean script that wind across his sculpted chest and shoulders like secrets written on skin. His jawline could cut glass. His lips curve into a smirk that suggests he knows exactly what she's thinking. Who are you? Isabel manages, her voice hoarse. Where am I? What happened? Soo-hyun's smirk deepens. He shifts closer, the movement languid and predatory. You don't remember? Would I be asking if I did? She snaps back, immediately regretting her tone when his eyebrow arches with interest. Feisty even with a hangover. I like that. He reaches out, his fingers brushing a strand of hair from her face. She jerks back instinctively. Relax, Isabel. Nothing happened. Well, nothing you didn't want to happen. Her stomach drops. How do you know my name? You told me. Multiple times, actually. You were quite chatty last night. His eyes travel down to where she's clutching the sheet, then back up to her face. And quite insistent about several things. Heat floods her cheeks. This cannot be happening. She's been in Seoul for 6 months, running from her psychotic ex-David back in Atlanta, trying to start fresh, stay invisible, keep her head down. The last thing she needs is to wake up in some stranger's bed with no memory and a growing sense that she's made a catastrophic mistake. Look, I don't know what I said or what you think happened, but I need to leave. Now. She scans the room for her clothes, spotting her black dress draped over a leather chair across the room. Running already? Soo-hyun's tone is teasing, but there's something else beneath it. Something darker. That seems to be a pattern for you. Isabel freezes. Excuse me? He sits up fully now, the sheet falling away to reveal the full canvas of his tattooed torso. Isabel forces herself to look away, her heart racing for entirely different reasons now. I make it my business to know things, Isabel. Especially about beautiful American women who show up alone at my establishments, looking over their shoulders every 5 minutes. Your establishments? The pieces start clicking together with horrifying clarity. Wait. Last night. That club. Velvet Soul. That's yours. Among other things. He swings his legs out of bed, standing in nothing but black silk pajama pants that hang low on his hips. He moves to a coffee table where an expensive-looking espresso machine sits, beginning to prepare coffee as if this is the most normal morning conversation in the world. You made quite an impression on my security team. A woman who can talk her way past 3 of Seoul's toughest bouncers, drink half the VIP section under the table, and still walk in a straight line? That's someone worth knowing. Isabel's mind reels. She remembers going to Velvet Soul, the hottest, most exclusive club in Gangnam. She remembers the pulsing music, the crush of beautiful people, the way the lights turned everything into a fevered dream. She'd gone to forget, to lose herself in the crowd, to feel something other than the constant fear that David would find her. But she doesn't remember meeting him. This man. This gorgeous, terrifying man who apparently owns the place and knows more about her than any stranger should. I need to go, she says again, more firmly this time. She starts to rise, then realizes she's completely naked beneath the sheet. Can you turn around? Soo Hyun glances over his shoulder, that infuriating smirk still playing on his lips. Nothing I haven't seen before, but if it makes you comfortable. He turns back to the espresso machine, giving her his back. Isabel moves quickly, wrapping the sheet around herself toga style and rushing to grab her dress. Her underwear is nowhere to be found. She decides it's a loss she'll have to accept. Her hands shake as she struggles with the zipper. Let me, Soo Hyun says from directly behind her. She jumps, not having heard him approach. His fingers brush against her bare back as he slowly, deliberately pulls the zipper up. The touch sends electricity racing down her spine. She can feel the heat radiating from his body, smell his cologne, something expensive and woody with notes of bergamot. There, he murmurs, his breath warm against her ear. All decent. Isabel spins around, putting distance between them. Her curvy frame fits the dress perfectly, but she feels exposed, vulnerable. Thanks. I'll see myself out. Coffee first. It's not a request. Soo Hyun gestures to the cup he's prepared, sitting on the marble counter. You look like you need it. She wants to refuse. Wants to run. But her head is pounding and the coffee smells like heaven, and something about the way he's looking at her makes it impossible to simply walk away. Isabel moves to the counter, maintaining careful distance. She takes the cup, wrapping her hands around the warm ceramic. The first sip is bitter and perfect. Why am I here? She asks quietly. Really? Soo Hyun leans against the counter, studying her with an intensity that makes her want to squirm. You really don't remember anything? Would you stop asking me that?
No.
I remember getting to the club around 11. I remember dancing. I remember vodka. A lot of vodka. And then nothing. Total blackout. He nods slowly, as if this confirms something. You were in the main area until about 1 in the morning. Then you somehow convinced my security to let you into the VIP section. You walked right up to my table. Oh God, Isabel groans, covering her face with one hand. And you said, and I quote, you look like you could use some chaos in your life. I'm Isabel. I'm an expert in chaos. Then you sat down and proceeded to drink my 50,001 whiskey like it was water. She wants to die. Actually die. Please tell me you're making this up. I never lie about first impressions. They're too entertaining. His expression softens slightly. You were running from something. Or someone. You kept looking at the exits. Kept checking your phone. When I asked what you were afraid of, you said, ghosts that won't stay dead. The words hit her like a punch to the gut. David. Even half drunk, even trying to forget, she couldn't escape him. The text messages. The threats. The way he'd found her in 3 different cities before she finally made it to Seoul. The restraining order that meant nothing to a man with money and connections. I don't want to talk about it, she says firmly. Fair enough. I respect privacy. To a point. Soo Hyun sets down his own coffee cup. But here's what you should know, Isabel. I don't bring random drunk women home. I'm a businessman. I have a reputation to maintain. The only reason you're in my bed right now is because you passed out in my VIP section, and I wasn't about to let my security dump you in a cab when you could barely remember your own address. How chivalrous, she mutters sarcastically. His eyes flash with something dangerous. I'm many things. Chivalrous isn't usually one of them, but I take care of what's mine. I'm not yours. Not yet. The words hang in the air between them, heavy with implication. Isabel's pulse quickens. This is insane. This man is insane. She needs to leave before the situation gets any more complicated. She drains the coffee cup and sets it down with a decisive click. Thank you for the bed and the coffee, and for not being a complete creep. But I really do need to go now. I'll have my driver take you. I can catch a cab. Not in Cheongdam-dong at this hour. You can't. And certainly not dressed like that. His gaze travels over her club dress with barely concealed amusement. My driver. I insist. There's that tone again. The one that brooks no argument. Isabel realizes with creeping certainty that this man is used to getting exactly what he wants, exactly when he wants it. The expensive penthouse, the private coffee setup, the way he moves through space like he owns it, because he probably does. Fine, she concedes, too tired and hungover to fight. Your driver. Soo Hyun makes a quick call in Korean, his voice switching to a clipped, authoritative tone that sends shivers down her spine. When he hangs up, he's all smooth charm again. Jean will meet you downstairs in 5 minutes. He'll take you wherever you need to go. Thank you. Isabel moves toward the door, desperate to escape the intensity of his presence. Her hand is on the handle when his voice stops her. Isabel. She turns. He's moved closer again, invading her space with that same predatory grace. You're interesting. I don't meet interesting people very often in my line of work. Mostly just parasites and sycophants. His hand reaches out, fingers brushing her jawline with surprising gentleness. I have a feeling we'll see each other again. I don't think that's a good idea, she whispers, even as her body betrays her, leaning into his touch. The best ideas rarely are. He steps back, releasing her from whatever spell he'd been weaving. Go home, Isabel. Get some rest. Try to stay out of trouble. She should leave. Should run. Should never look back. Instead, she meets his dark eyes one last time. Something tells me trouble is exactly what you are. His smile is slow and devastating. You have no idea. 5 days later. Isabel has spent the last 5 days trying to forget Kim Soo Hyun exists. It hasn't worked. She throws herself into her work at the small translation agency, where she's been employed since arriving in Seoul. She's good at languages, fluent in English and Spanish, conversational in Korean after 6 months of intensive study. It's honest work, boring work, safe work. Exactly what she needs. But at night, when she's alone in her tiny studio apartment in Hongdae, his face haunts her dreams. Those dark eyes. That knowing smirk. The way his fingers felt against her skin. She tells herself it's just physical attraction. She's been alone for so long, running for so long, that her body is simply responding to the first gorgeous man who's shown interest. It means nothing. He probably doesn't even remember her by now. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Her blood runs cold. David. She stares at the screen, paralyzed with fear, before finally opening the message. Velvet Soul. Tonight. 10 p.m. VIP section. Come alone. KSH. Relief floods through her. Not David. Immediately followed by confusion and annoyance. How did he get her number? And why does he think she'll just show up because he summoned her? She types back. Who is this? The response is immediate. Don't play games, Isabel. You know exactly who this is. Be there. Her fingers fly across the keyboard. Hard pass. Thanks for the coffee, though. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. It wasn't a request. You want answers about what happened that night? Be there. Or don't. Your choice. But something tells me you're not the type to leave mysteries unsolved. Damn him. Damn him for being right. Isabel stares at her phone for a long moment before typing a single word. Fine. Velvet's soul looks even more intimidating the second time around. The line stretches around the block. Beautiful people in expensive clothes hoping for a chance to enter Seoul's most exclusive playground. Isabel bypasses them all, her black leather jacket and ripped jeans a stark contrast to the designer labels surrounding her. She's not trying to impress anyone tonight. This isn't a social call. The same security guard who apparently let her through last time, a mountain of a man with a scar across his left eyebrow, recognizes her immediately. He speaks into his earpiece, then gestures for her to enter. No questions. No cover charge. The privilege of being on Kim Soo Hyun's radar, apparently. Inside, the club is a sensory assault. EDM pounds through speakers that cost more than her yearly salary. Laser lights cut through artificial fog. Bodies pressed together on the dance floor, moving like a single organism. The air smells like expensive perfume, spilled champagne, and desperation. Isabel weaves through the crowd, ignoring the appreciative glances from men who've clearly had too much to drink. She spots the VIP section on the second level, a glass-enclosed area overlooking the chaos below. More security guards. More velvet ropes. More exclusivity. Another mountain of muscle checks her name against a list, then opens the door. The VIP section is quieter, more controlled. Plush couches. Private bars. Small groups of Seoul's elite engaged in conversations she can't hear over the muted bass. And there, at the far end in a private booth surrounded by floor-to-ceiling windows offering a view of the glittering Gangnam skyline, sits Kim Soo-hyun. He's not alone. 3 men in expensive suits flank him. Clearly associates, clearly dangerous. They're reviewing documents spread across the table, speaking in rapid Korean that Isabel can't quite catch. Soo-hyun's eyes find her the moment she enters. A small smile plays at his lips. He says something to his associates, and they immediately gather the documents and leave without question. That kind of power should be terrifying. Instead, Isabel finds it intoxicating. "You came," he says as she approaches, his voice cutting through the ambient noise. "You're very demanding for someone I barely know," she replies, sliding into the booth across from him without waiting for an invitation. "And you're very defiant for someone who woke up in my bed 5 days ago." His eyes glitter with amusement. "I like the consistency." A waitress appears, impossibly beautiful, impossibly efficient. Soo-hyun orders something in Korean, without consulting Isabel. When the woman leaves, he leans back, studying her with that same unnerving intensity. "You wanted answers," he says. "Ask." Isabel crosses her arms. "What really happened that night?" "Exactly what I told you. You crashed my VIP section, drank my whiskey, entertained me with stories about Atlanta and bad exes, and your desperate desire to disappear. Then you passed out. I took you home because letting you sleep it off in my office seemed more civilized than the alternatives." "And nothing happened?" "Define nothing." Her stomach flips. "You know what I mean." Soo-hyun leans forward, elbows on the table, bringing his face closer to hers. "You kissed me. Once. Right before you passed out. You tasted like whiskey and regret." He pauses, his gaze dropping to her lips. "I didn't kiss you back. You were drunk. I'm many things, Isabel, but I'm not that." Relief and disappointment war in her chest. "Okay, good. That's good." "Is it?" He tilts his head, studying her. "You seem disappointed." "I'm not. Liar." The waitress returns with 2 drinks, something amber and expensive-looking. Isabel takes hers automatically, needing something to do with her hands. "Why am I here, Soo-hyun? Really? Don't tell me it's just to clarify what happened. You could have done that over text." He takes a slow sip of his drink, considering. "You're right. I wanted to see you again. I wanted to see if you were as interesting sober as you were drunk. And more so, which is rare." He sets down his glass. "You're running from someone. Someone dangerous. Someone with resources." It's not a question. Isabel's defenses slam into place. "That's none of your business." "Perhaps. But you made it my business when you walked into my club looking over your shoulder like a hunted animal." "I protect what's in my domain, Isabel. That's how I maintain order." "I'm not asking for your protection." "I know. That's what makes you interesting." His phone buzzes. He glances at it, his expression darkening. "Excuse me for a moment. Don't leave." He stands and walks toward a private corner, phone to his ear, speaking in rapid, harsh Korean that sounds like commands. Isabel watches him, trying to piece together who this man really is. Wealthy, obviously. Powerful, clearly. Connected to something darker than just nightclub ownership. The way his associates moved, the deference from security, the undercurrent of danger that follows him like cologne. And then it clicks. The full weight of realization crashes over her like ice water. The club isn't just a club. The VIP section isn't just for celebrities and chaebol. The men in suits weren't business associates. Kim Soo-hyun isn't just a billionaire CEO. He's Mafia. Her ex David had connections to organized crime back in Atlanta. That's how he always found her, how he circumvented restraining orders, how he made witnesses disappear. She spent 6 months learning to recognize the signs, the subtle indicators, the way power moves through criminal organizations. And Soo-hyun has all of them. She's sitting in the private booth of Seoul's most dangerous man. Her heart hammers. She should run. Should leave right now before this gets any more complicated. Before she trades one dangerous man for another. But then Soo Hyun returns, sliding back into the booth with the grace of a predator. His expression has shifted. Harder now, more businesslike. My apologies. Business. He studies her face, noting the change in her demeanor. You figured it out. You're not just a businessman. I am a businessman. Just a specific kind. He doesn't deny it, doesn't confirm it, doesn't need to. Does that scare you? It should. But it doesn't. Isabel meets his gaze. I've been scared for 2 years. I'm tired of being scared. At this point, I'm just angry. Something shifts in his expression. Respect, maybe, or recognition. Good. Fear makes people weak. Anger makes them dangerous. Is that supposed to be advice? It's an observation. He drains his drink. Your ex, David Chun. Second-generation Chinese-American. Connections to the Chin Syndicate in Atlanta. Restraining order filed 14 months ago in Fulton County. Violated 7 times before you ran. The blood drains from Isabel's face. How do you? I told you. I make it my business to know things. Especially about beautiful women who show up in my territory, looking hunted. His expression hardens. He's escalating. The texts have become more frequent. More threatening. He's getting closer to finding you. Tears prick at Isabel's eyes, fury and fear mixing into something toxic. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm going to make you an offer. Soo Hyun leans back, his posture deceptively relaxed. And I want you to understand exactly what you're accepting if you say yes. Before she can respond, before she can process what's happening, he gestures toward the exit. Not an invitation. A command. You will go home. Now. The words are delivered with absolute authority, his intense gaze pinning her in place. There's no room for negotiation in his tone. Isabel blinks, momentarily thrown. Excuse me? Why? His eyes narrow dangerously. He's clearly not used to backtalk, not used to anyone questioning his directives. The temperature in the booth seems to drop several degrees. Because I said so. The arrogance is breathtaking. Isabel feels her temper flare. The same temper that got her in trouble with David. The same temper that saved her life more than once. She spent 2 years being controlled, being hunted, being told what to do. She's done. Screw this, she says, standing abruptly. You're not my father. She turns to leave, her heart pounding with adrenaline and anger. She makes it 3 steps before his hand closes around her wrist, not painfully, but firmly enough to stop her in her tracks. The touch sends electricity racing up her arm. No, Soo Hyun says, his voice low and dangerous as he rises to his full height behind her. He's close enough that she can feel the heat of his body, smell his cologne. I'm not. He turns her to face him, his hand still circling her wrist. His other hand comes up to cup her jaw, tilting her face toward his. They're inches apart. His dark eyes bore into hers with an intensity that steals her breath. But my men tell me, he continues, his thumb brushing across her lower lip, you may be uniquely qualified for a position on my team. Isabel's mind reels. Of all the things she expected him to say, this wasn't one of them. What? He releases her wrist, but doesn't step back, maintaining that invasive closeness. You speak multiple languages. You understand how to disappear, how to read people, how to survive. You're resourceful, intelligent, and, according to the background check my people ran, you have a degree in international business and 3 years' experience in financial analysis before your ex forced you to run. You ran a background check on me? She doesn't know whether to be furious or impressed. Of course I did. I don't make offers to people I don't understand. His eyes travel over her face, down to her lips, then back up. You need protection from your ex. I need someone with your skill set. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. What kind of position? Financial analyst. Legitimate. Above board. Well, mostly. That infuriating smirk returns. You'd be working in my corporate office, handling international transactions and contracts. Nothing illegal. Nothing that would put you in direct danger. Why me? You could hire anyone. Because you're desperate enough to say yes, smart enough to be useful, and interesting enough that I want to keep you close. He finally steps back, giving her space to breathe. And because something tells me you're tired of running.
He's right.
God, he's right. She's so tired of looking over her shoulder, of jumping at shadows, of living half a life in constant fear. But this is insane. Working for the Mafia? Even in a legitimate capacity. What happens when David finds her? What happens when Soo Hyun's world inevitably bleeds into violence? What happens when she can't walk away? Soo Hyun seems to read her thoughts. I won't lie to you, Isabel. My world is dangerous. But it's also protected. David Chun and his connections mean nothing here. This is my territory. My city. He comes for you here. He'll regret it. The promise in his words is dark and absolute. I need to think about it, she says quietly. Of course. He reaches into his jacket and produces a business card. Heavy cardstock, minimalist design, embossed lettering. So go home.
Get some rest.
And be at my office tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. sharp. His tone makes it clear. This is happening whether she's ready or not. Isabel takes the card, her fingers brushing his. The contact sends another jolt through her system. Forbidden attraction mixed with genuine fear mixed with something she can't quite name. And if I don't show up? Soo Hyun's smile is slow and devastating. You will. Because despite everything telling you to run, despite every rational thought in your beautiful head screaming that this is a terrible idea, he leans in close enough that his lips brush the shell of her ear. You're curious, and curiosity is far more powerful than fear. He pulls back, his eyes gleaming with triumph. Jean will drive you home. Again, try not to make a habit of needing my driver. Try not to make a habit of summoning me to your club at night like I'm at your beck and call, she fires back. His laugh is genuine, surprising them both. There she is. The chaos I was hoping for. He gestures toward the exit.
Go, Isabel.
Before I change my mind about being a gentleman. She doesn't need to be told twice. As she walks toward the exit, she can feel his eyes on her, a physical weight that makes her spine straighten and her hips sway with unconscious defiance. She's playing with fire. She knows it. But for the first time in 2 years, she feels alive. The question is, will the burn be worth it? Can forbidden love survive in a world built on lies, power, and dangerous obsessions? Or will the flames consume everything in their path? Subscribe to find out what happens when Isabel walks into the lion's den tomorrow morning, because part 2 is going to change everything.